fathers, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the Rydal Penrhos community, we would also like to welcome you to this year's speech day. Last year, heads of the school, Lara Roth and Glenn Davies, explained how there are two ways of starting the speech. The first is it only feels like yesterday we were wearing oversized blazers. And the other is recognising that there's a cliche and then explaining the speech. But I want to do something different. May the 28th is speech day, but it also happens to be someone's birthday. Anna, I don't know how you've done it, but you've made it to 18 years on this planet. That itself is quite an achievement for you. Seldom do opportunities come by where you get to embarrass your friend immensely. So I hope you'll all join me in wishing her happy birthday. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Hannah. Happy birthday to you.
Rydal Penrhos didn't exist then. Instead, there was a separate boys' school called Rydal and a separate girls' school called Penrhos College. During our tours, as we walked through the buildings, and as they searched for the younger versions of themselves in the old school photos, it was clear that nostalgia started to hit them. One gentleman told me how he and his friends used to sneak out of their dorm rooms to meet the Penrhos girls. Another, a retired professor, told me how his love for chemistry was ignited within the labs many of us learn in today. And another remembered how he found a passion for rugby during his school days here. Even though in terms of time, it was such a small part of their lives, they reasoned that this was one of their biggest stages. Now, we have a smaller amount of pupils in our school, but in my opinion, it is one of our best assets, as I feel all the year groups know each other well, and we become a close-knit community, and this does make a difference when being able to settle into a new school. You only have to look at the Rydal Penrhos calendar to see how much is packed into each week, and what an extensive menu it is, something to suit everyone's taste. And I'm sure Mr. Macduff will cover many of these later. However, with all the emails, tweets, and Facebook posts, many of you must be aware of the incredible things our pupils have achieved this year.
However, a speech is not a speech without a thought-provoking quote from one of the world's inspiring leaders. And so in the immortal words of philosopher Drake, upper sixth, we started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and hopefully it's here. Like these pupils, you have finished your exams, and that really is a feeling I envy. And A-level pupils, we are nearly over the line. But overall upper sixth, I think we deserve a massive round of applause for completing school.
We all come to Rydal Penrhos, knowing little about who we will become or what we will accomplish, but we will eventually leave knowing who we are. We are not just taught how to find the value of 3 log 49 divided by the constant e to the power of 331, or know the year Hitler established his Third Reich.
29 in 1933.
But we are taught far more important lessons, not just inside the classroom, but outside as well, that shapes the character we become. So, leading on from this, Shaswath and I thought it would be nice to share with you a couple of lessons that we've been taught during our time here at Rydal Penrhos.
We were thrust into all sports from year 7, and with each year group, having around 20 boys to choose from, and each team involving a minimum of 15 players. That meant you'd be playing in all teams, even if you weren't good enough, like in most things Theo smell. And that is why, from my time here, from year 7 to year 10, we lost every game of rugby. But there came a point where we were not afraid of losing anymore. We were used to it. But what we did do was try our best and revel the little things. Like when Lloyd Paddy Williams finally caught the ball. Or when Sean Robinson figured out where the opposition's try line was. Looking back, it has taught me in life that you should never be afraid of failure. Always try your best and enjoy the small things as well as the big ones. The main point is to enjoy the company of your friends and teammates, and something good will come of it. And it did. Our time came. Birkenhead v Rydal. Did we stand a chance? The game started normally, with Birkenhead going 20 points up. But then out of nowhere, we started fighting back. I'm not sure if Mr. Mather added something in those water bottles, or if 4 years of training finally paid off. But we were the incarnation of the All Blacks. Jake Vaughan Thomas and Max Copeland played like Nonu and Brodie Retallick, and even Lloyd Paddy Williams played like Julian Surveyor, smashing everyone apart, leading the way. The score was 51-49 to Birkenhead, and there was not a lot of time left on the clock. Probably the last play of the game. But then out of nowhere, Sam Merrick kicks the ball from the 25-yard mark in a Dan Carter-esque fashion. Tension was looming. Would it make it to the posts? And it didn't. No. Okay. She's one of the voices, but actually no, it did cross the post. But we were elated and shocked. It was the epitome of happiness. And I'm pretty sure I saw a few tears in Mr. Mather's eye that day. This is something the lads in my year will treasure forever.
Last summer, I was fortunate enough to be part of the Rydal Penrhos team to visit Uganda. It was an unforgettable time, and the people I met, the things I participated in, and the lessons I learned were all life-changing. However, one of the biggest lessons I learned came from something I never thought would have such a big impact on me. Lots of advice was given out during the trip. I abided and listened to it, apart from one time. Miss Assistants had reminded us to boil your toothbrush as soon as you make contact with the water, as it is unsafe to drink. So, the evening ended with me brushing my teeth, and I accidentally placed my toothbrush under the tap water. I was tired, and for some reason thought I knew better. I played the risky game with the 5-second rule, because we all know that works. And I didn't leave my brush in boiling water like was suggested. Little did I know that this was going to be a big mistake. The next day, a few hours after I woke up, I started to feel very uneasy. This was made worse by the thought of a day's travelling on the badly constructed roads. I was doing fine until about hour 6, at which point I was forced to jump off the bus and disappear into bushes. Now, I'm not going to go any further, but I'm going to say that I did walk out of the bush with a lot less dignity than I ran in with. I learned the hard way and made sure I soaked my brush in the boiling water next time I made that mistake. Luckily, I never did have any more unpleasant surprises, and I did thoroughly enjoy the rest of my trip. There will always be times when you make mistakes. You can't help it. It is natural. However, the important thing is to learn from them, so you don't repeat the same mistake twice. And sometimes, like I do, you might actually look back and laugh at them.
My next memory took place in the dining hall, and it was one of the most embarrassing things that could have happened to me in my first few weeks. After spending 3 years in India, coming here was a big culture shock. Hide and seek wasn't cool anymore. You didn't have to stand up every time you spoke to the teachers. And babies didn't come from God. So due to these differences, it took me a few more weeks to settle in compared to everyone else. So there I was one lunch, sitting by myself in the dining hall. But I made the rookie mistake of keeping my tray at the edge of the table. And then I placed my elbow on the edge of the tray, and the plate full of curry, ironically, fell all over my clothes. Luckily, only a few people around me noticed, but I was close to tears and ran straight to the toilet to try and clean the food off. But then in came a sixth former, a prefect if I can recall. His name was Raymond Kwan, and he had seen the incident from the opposite table. He had come to see if I was okay and if I needed any help, and he helped get the food off my clothes and made me feel comfortable. A stranger I had never met before had come to me in my time of need. This is what I think makes a community special. Things like this. And I implore you all to continue this. Keep an eye out on your own year group and the year groups below you, and always offer help when needed. And like Raymond, maybe one day your kindness will leave a lasting impression on someone.
As I prepare to leave to New Zealand, looking back at my favourite memories, I realised that none of them would be engraved into my mind without the help of my friends, my fellow pupils, and even the staff. My memories created within Rydal Penrhos will allow me to look back when I leave and smile. Smile at all those times Osborne won the House Cup.
Is it just me that think it's fixed?
The times that I spent on the sports field with my teammates, and all those times Mrs. Harding illuminated her passion for geography, where her explanations frequently broke into an individual drama piece that even Mrs. Crimes would be proud of. Her ever-present passion just radiated out of her, and has led to a growth of my own passion for the subject. Through times of exams, we are encouraged to balance our time effectively and efficiently. And this, I admit, is a very good idea. However, the times when exams aren't looming, the times when you're able to have fun and relax, make the most of it. You're not here for your whole life, and nor are your friends. And as much as you might not want to admit it, time is limited. So, as I have learned, create memories that can last a lifetime. Spend time with your friends, and when the time comes, work as hard as you can to make it count. And even if some of it doesn't make sense, find your teachers and let their passion for the subject allow you to understand it. You don't want to look back and regret. You want to be able to move forward into the next stage of life with a smile on your face and the memories that can carry you.
So now we reach our final few minutes of being head boy and head girl at Rydal Penrhos. We hope we have lived up to your expectations. It truly has been a privilege to be able to represent the school throughout the year. We could not have done this without the fantastic help of our prefects, and to next year's newly appointed heads of school, Adam Sabri and Charlotte Owen, and the other newly appointed prefects. We wish you the best of luck.
Mr. Lavery, thank you for always providing us with your guidance and wisdom throughout our time here in sixth form. We would also like to say a huge thank you to Mr. Lee Brown, who gave us this opportunity, and on behalf of the school, thank him for the 7.5 years he served here as headmaster. And finally, thank you to all the teachers, pupils, support staff and parents who have made our time here at Rydal Penrhos so special. So, just to conclude, what has our 7 years been like at Rydal Penrhos?
Well, let's take the analogy of an Indian takeaway. In those very early days, when you first indulge in Indian food, you're not too sure what you're doing. You're still finding your feet and refining your palate. There might be a few other people in the queue who are also indulging in Indian cuisine as well for the first time. Despite things seeming tough, you can always rely on the experience of the chefs to help you. Over time though, you find out what you like and what you don't like. Those people in the queue become some of your best friends, and the chefs are now people that you care about, and they care about you as well. But over your time here at Rydal Penrhos, everyone comes across these things. Well, we too have anyway.
Sometimes things might seem boring and dull.
As my uncle says, Like a chicken korma?
There might be times where life is very easy and you are coasting.
Like a butter chicken?
There might be times where you do things you regret. You make mistakes.
Like going against a chef's advice, thinking you can handle the spice, and adding the extra naga chili in your dish.
There might be times that everything just seems a bit too much. It's getting on top of you, and you just want something comforting and familiar.
Like a chicken tikka masala.
And finally, there might be times where life is really, really exciting.
Yeah, that's right. A chicken vindaloo. However, there comes a point where everything starts to get a bit repetitive. You've been through the ins and outs of an Indian takeaway. You are now ready to indulge in a completely new cuisine, but you can use your experiences from Rydal Penrhos to help you. Whether you're just at the start of your journey, or whether you're at the end of it, we wish you the best of luck. Rydal Penrhos has so many dishes on offer. Make sure you try them all, and always go with what you love. And no matter what cuisine we all try next, there'll always be room for an Indian takeaway in our hearts.
Thank you.
Thank you.